Alexandra Harrington. She's the Chief Operating Officer with the Warren Centre, and they're doing some really interesting research on planning for growth to bring together maybe some of the ideas that people have been talking about today. So, Alexandra, let's just start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what results you're getting?
Thank you very much, Jan, and good afternoon, everyone. The Warren Centre's been undertaking some work around urban reform and the decision-making process associated with our urban environment. We started with a case study looking at connectivity, which tested sort of the principles around transport infrastructure. And we're now looking at planning for growth. And the structure of the case study is we identified 4 key principles, being vision and policy, governance, strategy and implementation, and looked at planning for growth in this context. And we've taken a number of case studies and looked at them collectively to see, well, how do these principles apply? What can the past really teach us? And what are the lessons out of it? And it's been quite a fascinating study, because whether or not you think a planning case study has been successful can be a very personal perspective. And that can vary for everyone depending on what compromises were made and what part you played in the process. But putting a number of case studies together, the interrelationship between issues and the importance of understanding these important factors like governance becomes really crucial. And it's quite interesting. So the outcomes were very, very, very clear in this process. The case studies we took were Green Square and Pyrmont Ultimo in Sydney, Milton Keynes in the UK to get a global perspective, and because this was the most ambitious of the British new towns example, the Macarthur Growth Area in the southwest of Sydney, and Bathurst Orange, which was a new towns development that was planned in central New South Wales that never succeeded. The lessons learnt were very distinct from this process. So vision and policy was critical, and it's really interesting to hear some of the comments made by the speakers around having that vision, having it clearly articulated, and having the community being an inherent part of that. It's certainly interesting too, I think, the comment made with the hunter growth strategy and looking at things like the COAG initiatives and how that translates. Sometimes the drivers can become very external factors. In Bathurst Orange, it was really about a decentralisation policy out of Sydney, and that's fine, but you then have to ground that objective in the local context if you really want it to succeed. Governance is vital, and we've heard some really good examples here today where that engagement at a government level is really critical, and getting buy-in. And political leadership is really vital, and it was really great to hear Paul's comments from that point of view in terms of being a champion for your area, for your environment and for your community. Strategic planning. To a room like this, I think this goes without saying. Having a clear and articulated plan that involves the community and lays out the strategy and takes into account the considerations. In things like the Macarthur area development, one of the things that was done was around Ingleburn and Minto was some government works to basically civil works and some basic infrastructure to develop some industrial land. Now, on the basis of that, with then the natural access to road and rail, business came, and that really started to grow the area. And adaptability, I think, is also really important. So it's interesting with some of these examples, hearing how changing environment and some of the challenges you've got to deal with can create a real need for adaptability, and it's crucial that that becomes part of the strategy. And finally, just continuous and extensive community engagement, and I think that's been very clear in some of the examples we've heard. Regions are about choices, and understanding the choices people want, choices offered by the region, and choices that can be added is really critical into developing regions that are really successful and enjoyable, give people options, but also become an inherently livable place to reside. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.